Welcome back to Cyril Yells at Miraculous Ladybug because apparently that's all I do. Seriously, I want to praise this show, but it makes it so hard to do that. The synopsis for the season 6 episode titled Mr. Agrest was released a while ago. And it says Marinette finds it increasingly difficult to keep a secret from Adrien, and the arrival of a supervillain who looks just like her old enemy won't help. And we do have some clips from Comic-Con, I'm just not going to show it to you, that shows Adrien gets thrown around by an akumatized villain who takes on the form of Gabriel's statue, and he has to call for Ladybug. You probably expect me to go on a long tirade about how Adrien is getting sidelined in his own family drama once again, and how every single character is lying to Adrien. And that's all true. Kagami, Felix, Natalie, Marinette, everyone has colluded to lie to him and try to keep him sheltered like a fragile doll, which is the exact opposite of the premise of his character. But what's consistency? What's characterization to this show? What's anything? No, seriously, what is anything? This is episode 9 of 26 in production order. Is it going to air in production order? No, we let that ship pass long time ago. But the problem with Miraculous Ladybug has consistently been, besides the fact that they're sidelining Adrien in favor of Marinette and the whole, I get that she's the whole protagonist deal, but there's protagonist and then there's protagonism, where the protagonist has to assume everything to the point that supporting cast members just are awful because they're not there. They're more like Pokemon. So, what was my point here? Oh, right. Miraculous has a long-standing problem with pacing. This show cannot pace itself to save its life. If this show was a person and someone held a cannon right in front of it filled with grape shot, the show could not pace itself so that it can run away properly from the cannon, even if they're just running to the sides of it. This has led to major character and story moments just coming off as lackluster and inept. It is just sheer incompetence, mainly because you cannot have a payoff without a setup. This is basic storytelling 101. This isn't even basic storytelling 101. Children understand the concept of, hey, let's get to know the characters before we do anything. Seriously, I'm sure Spidey and his amazing friends on Disney Junior knows the concept of, hey, let's set up a joke before we have a punchline to it. You have to do that. Even if kids don't understand it, they do know the concept. And yes, I could just be jumping the gun here. I could be going, oh, this episode is so incompetent just off of a summary. And this whole secret Marinette is trying to keep is probably just a present or something. And the arrival of a supervillain is just throwing a wrench into that. This is meant to be some kind of lighthearted episode. That is a strong possibility. But knowing the precedent this show sets, I don't feel it. I really don't. I just keep recalling how it can't pace itself to save its life. We all remember the Love Square. You remember the Love Square, right? This whole will they or won't they back and forth only leads to characters coming off as unsympathetic. It sucks the characterization out of them. It sucks the common sense out of them, because the more you keep dragging, the more likely flaws are going to be extended. It's like stretching an elastic band that has a rip in it. You're going to increase the rip in the band the more you stretch things out, which is exactly what Miraculous Ladybug has done with several plot points. Was anyone actually impressed with the whole Marinette and Adrien getting together thing? Because by the time that happened, the show kinda burned all its goodwill when it came to the Love Square and the shipping. It's just, okay, so they're going to say, will they? Then the next episode, won't they? Will they? Won't they? Will they? won't they? Let's throw in this entire wrench. Let's throw in another character and have this character throw a wrench into the plans. And then you can say, will they, or will they? Or will he, and will she? And will he and this brick wall? Then will he and this brick wall and this tree? This show has burned a ton of goodwill with just throwing in more characters, doing fake outs, trying to have the reset button be hit, and then tease, oh, there's this apocalyptic future in the case that this happens, and then this apocalyptic future suddenly becomes plot relevant, and the plot sucks because it's really just trying to put a cap on a character that is already overpowered, and I'm questioning, okay, why did you overpower the character in the first place if you're just going to write yourself into a corner? You see what I mean? This whole thing just shoots out in multiple directions. There's no build-up. The writers, the producers, the whoever's in charge of this story just throws crap at a wall, hoping it sticks. And ultimately, when it happens, nobody really cares what happens. It just leads to confusion, and more confusion. This, my friends, is why the concept of pacing is important, because the patron who ordered a glass of water has managed to have a child, and then die of thirst, and then be reduced to a skeleton by the time you've given him the drink. Once more, this episode is 9 of 26. It's close enough to the mid-season mark that we could be shaking things up, but I really doubt it, because all the early stuff is done, the middle stuff is happening, now we're just gonna have to wait to the finale. Seriously, this is what frustrates people about Miraculous Ladybug. The entirety of the main story is so dull, so uninteresting, because it has such shaky foundations, and that's a compliment compared to what I normally say about it, that it's hard to get invested. This is why people tend to like focus episodes for lesser characters. El Toro de Piedra, that I have actually praised on this channel. This stands in great contrast to the Marin and Adrian plots, where everyone I've seen sorta just shrugs at it and says, at least it's better than the crap that came before it. And is this really what we want? Shoddy crap that came before it, so slightly less crappy? I guess it's a relief in some way, but shouldn't you be striving for, not crap? Then again, the striving for not crap could simply go back to various episodes where Miraculous Ladybug decides to devote time and energy to lesser characters. Perhaps that's why we're devoting so much time and energy to lesser characters. They come off with a lot less baggage, mainly because they were basically Marinette's Pokemon. I guess that's something, but, well, if your main draw is your side characters, I can't say that's wrong, but that kinda says a lot about your main characters and the main conflict. Those are just my thoughts. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.